It's another episode of Real Estate Guru Podcast, and we got special guests. We got Donovanboyd and his lovely wife, Ms.Boyd. So y'all have a marriage real estate next month.
So we want to say thank you for having us on the show. Always excited to get on different platforms and different shows. But so we're doing a couples in real estate event here in Houston, Texas on December 5th. Just geared towards, we're highlighting African-American couples that is in the real estate space and in investing space. But the event is not just, solely for couples. The event is to educate and inspire people to get into real estate investing. And it's just investing in general. We have a couple different topics that will be discussed, but mainly it's setting everybody up on the path of investments, financial freedom, generational wealth. We don't talk about it enough in our community, so we wanted to create an event and take it around the country, exposing people, because I think a lot of things comes from exposure. So exposing people to investing, exposing people to how to tap into certain things that they may or may not know about, or capital that they may not know about that they have access to get into the space.
Okay. So you said take it around the country means you've done one somewhere else before?
Yes.
And you did the same, it's called Couples in Real Estate.
Correct.
And you did the same conference in?
Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. Tell us how that went.
It was amazing, man. We had almost 200 people in attendance.
Oh, wow.
We had to turn people away, but that's from our hometown. So me and my wife are from Cleveland, Ohio. So that was home. So we wanted to start there first. Cleveland, Ohio, for a lot of people that don't know, is the center of attention when it comes to real estate. It's coming the highest growths in the country, one of the top markets to invest in. So we wanted to start there because you have a lot of people that's coming from across the country that want to invest in Cleveland. So I feel like a lot of people in our own backyard don't know the opportunities that's going on around them because, it's familiarity. You're there. And if you're really not tapped into it, you really don't know. So we wanted to expose that and get people, thinking about investing in their own backyard.
Let me ask you, the medium-sized home in Cleveland is like, as far as the price?
Tell me give me medium size.
Not medium size, medium price.
Medium price.
Medium price. An average price.
So it's tricky in Cleveland, right? So you can buy $5,000 homes, you can buy $500,000 homes.
Just where are you interested? Where do you want to
live?
Where's
the middle though? As far as like the sweet spot that investors are trying to get in right now. Or is it both?
Under 100.
Under 100. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So like these $5,000 homes, is that just the land or there's walls?
It's
house.
There's whole houses?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is why there's no place like it in the country.
Yeah.
Well, they say that about Houston too. Right?
No, there's a lot. Yeah.
But I think
not price point wise.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's awesome to invest in Houston because in Houston the return on the investment and the equity of how fast how fast the home is going to build equity is amazing. But if you want to compare that to Cleveland, the home price, you can't beat that. You can't even get in the game with $10,000 in Houston, Texas.
So I think that there's two different things in there. There's the Houston market's on fire as far as homes selling fast.
Yes.
Correct.
The Cleveland market is probably I'm not going to use the word underserved, but a market that you can get into and buy a house at a lower price point.
Correct.
For sure.
So, and we didn't talk about this much, but you're a licensed real estate agent.
Yes, I am.
In Texas. So as soon as we started talking about prices and as soon as we said medium and all this stuff, I saw her wheels start spinning automatically. So your Instagram page is Dom's My Agent. And so you speak from the professional side of investing. So using all that pretense in mind, Cleveland is a market that people flock to scoop up all the properties, essentially, for lack of better terms. And so Houston's a different type of market where it's a hot, quick selling market. And you're here to show us both of those, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. So in your you guys' experience, What are you into? Like, what are you guys buying? What are you guys looking for? I know you're an investor, you're a real estate agent, so that's a tag team duo.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pay all those commissions because your wife is the agent. Explain that. How does that work? How is it working for you guys?
And y'all been doing this since 2009, right?
Correct.
All right, cool. That's quite a bit of. That's some
long
experience.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When'd you get in the game?
This season, yeah.
2016.
2016. Okay.
So I can start first. Like I said, we started in 2009 from the home buying perspective. We bought our first home in 2009. It was a foreclosed property, $150,000 house. We paid $40,000 for it. No work needed. So if you're thinking about 2009, you got to remember that's
right after the crash.
That's right after the crash. So we were renting an apartment. We were just getting together. We rented an apartment, and we found an agent that specialized in foreclosures. So that's all he did. So Cleveland at that point had a lot of foreclosed properties. So in doing that, go ahead.
I was going to ask, when you came into purchasing that property, was that something that you had in mind? Like, were you there to buy an investment property or just buy your home?
Right. No. So we bought our first home.
Mm-hmm.
But what we, try to iterate to people is that's really the first step to investing. So we bought our first home. We still own that home to this day. So that for the person that is, I want to get into investing, I really don't know how to start, I don't have the capital, your home buying, purchasing a home can be your first foot into the game, your first step into the game.
Do y'all have a property manager, or do y'all deal with the tenant? Oh, you are?
Right.
Okay.
I am.
Yeah. So, we've dealt with property managers. We've been in it long enough to where we've put the systems in place. We've took a little bit from this person, took a little bit from that person, and kind of implemented our own systems, softwares and things of that nature to be able to do it. But, we've had to build the team over time, the maintenance, and, from that standpoint to make sure that we are, that's really the biggest thing when it comes to property management, in my eyes, is handling the maintenance calls.
Do y'all do Section 8?
Yes.
Y'all do?
Absolutely.
So how many rental properties y'all have?
Doors.
Or doors?
Yeah.
We
How many
usually
doors?
go by doors. So currently right now we have 16 doors.
16?
Nice.
Okay.
And your eyes lit up when you said Section 8. Is that great or is that a mess? Because there's different opinions on that.
There is absolutely different opinions on that. And I think that it is very important to educate yourself. So we have system in place as far as like vetting our tenants, and it doesn't change just because you have Section 8. If you do not meet that background check, if you do not, if Section 8 is not willing to meet the income standards, then you are not approved. If your credit does not look, I check history, rental. One of the biggest, I think, kept secrets, or one of the things that I learned is very important, is I always check utilities. If a person is behind on their utilities, they're not responsible. So that's not an individual that I would have in my home or in our homes. And I think that Section 8 is important to mention that is definitely residual income. That's one thing I never have to worry about. I don't have to make a call on the 1st. Or go to sleep on the 30th, wake up on the 1st, and that check is in there, no problem. And if there's a holiday that comes up, it's coming before. So we have had luck with our Section 8 tenants.
Yeah.
I am grateful for them. And, we definitely did our due diligence to make sure that individual, you can only check so much, right?
Sure.
And then one thing too, if the individual on Section 8 does not take care of your property, they lose their Section 8. So that's not something that someone wants to do.
Have y'all had to evict anybody?
No.
Wow.
We have not.
You know what I like? What she said, this is what I say. You got to screen. Oh, sorry. You got to screen. You got to do that one more. Screen. You got to screen. You can't just let anybody live in your property. You got $150,000 property and you just let anybody,
It could be cousin, mother, brother,
exactly.
sister.
See, she's about business. I love it.
Yeah, people make the mistake because they're so thirsty to get something rented. It's been empty for a while.
Yeah.
It just, we have tenants that have been with us 6-7 years. So that comes from a good screening process.
A lot of times there's a breakdown in that. When it comes to, like, say, for example, a new investor, somebody who has just come into the real estate game, found a house that they want to maybe do the BRRRR method, buy, rehab, refinance, all that good stuff. but then they get into a property. They're so excited they actually got a house, right? They get to rehabbing it, or they buy one that's already, rent ready. But they get so excited about being able to get the home as an investor, right? And then I think a lot of times people skip over that one little thing is you got to get a tenant in there, and a lot of times they don't want to pay a realtor to do that due diligence. You just happen to have one in house, right? So she's going to do all the due diligence, and she's even more attuned to it because it's her property or you guys' property. But I think the guys, the people that are getting into this game have to know these steps. Like, you have to hire the professionals to do that. Otherwise, you are going to have to evict somebody. You are going to have to go in there. I think Mario is a prime example of having, no cap to Mario.
You got to turn it into a business. It's a business.
It's a business.
Yeah,
So-
there's
the lessons. That's how you learn.
Yeah, I mean,
Try to tell you.
we kind of like what Ron said. We screen everybody as, like what you said, as much as possible. Like, but as far as like them taking care of the property, you can't really know if they're going to take care of it.
No, but that's why you
Do you do inspections,
the
though?
screening.
I do. Every time I get my money, I'll inspect and I'll tell them about it. Like just the other day, I was fixing a fence and one of the dogs like dug up a little hole in the siding, and I was just like, what happened or whatever. And she was saying like the siding was brittle. And I was just like, all right, well, y'all not getting y'all deposit back when y'all leave. So
yes. Did you really say that?
I really said that.
You say that
No, but like, look, hold on. Look,
later.
She had like an attitude, like
You got to keep professional, Mario.
No, I do though.
now when you tell them they just lost their
He just lost it. When is her lease up? Why would you?
She right now. Technically, she's on a month-to-month because her year is up, and I never renewed it. So she's on a month-to-month. So, and I never gave it a green light to have those dogs.
Oh, yeah. So
well, that's the
see. You got to have systems in place.
Problem A already there. I was just about to ask you that. Did she pay the pet deposit?
Because it's pet deposit.
I'm gonna make her pay monthly. I'm gonna make her pay monthly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I hear from that, right?
Yeah.
So the good thing about experience, like I said, been doing this since 2009. We've used property managers to list our places. We've used realtors to find tenants, so on and so forth, right? So the biggest thing is, you take little pieces from that, right? So for example, my son plays basketball, right? And he's been with a lot of different trainers, right? So he might train with this person. Okay, I like a couple of these drills. We're gonna, when we get home, we're gonna do these. And he went over here, we're gonna do this. So you take from different people, right? So one of the biggest things is what we've learned is the systems as far as the screening process, right? And then another thing is, just from listening to what you said, the lease. I already know that something's wrong with the lease, right? Because my lease automatically says I can expect all I need is 24 hours.
Period.
My lease automatically says that if you bring a pet without telling me, it's a fine, right? Then it's a fine on top of there's a additional amount of money per month that goes on it, right? My lease also says that after the year, it automatically renews unless you let me know that you want to go month to month.
Or I'll let you know that.
Right. So there, so there's little things that will make you more money. You won't lose money, from certain things. And it's just, fine tuning your systems and your processes to make sure that everything is running, as seamless as possible.
Like a business.
You can't avoid, some things that you can't avoid, but, so that it can run as seamless as possible.
After COVID, I kind of did like a month to month. Thank God, nobody got fired from the jobs, and then I got my money during COVID. Exactly. Right. So
we're a year and a half away. I said we're a year and a half out, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good as far as COVID goes. But like, unless I really like the tenant, I just do the month to months because it takes a little. Like if you're on that month to month, it'll take like a month to get them out.
For sure.
Versus if you do that year lease or that 6-month lease. Like it took me like 4 months to get this one guy out one time.
Do you charge extra if they're doing month to month, or you just charge them the same price?
I charge them the same price.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
No, it's gotta go up, Mario. Oh, it's gotta go up.
We get it's additional.
Fee.
Additional.
Yeah,
it's like so if you don't renew your lease and you go month to month. So we had a tenant,
$200, right?
Right. So we had a tenant then renew her lease, and then she went month to month for 6 months.
We were all
I'm like, you might as well.
Yeah, $200-$300, right?
You might as well have signed a new lease.
Yeah, it's a business. It's a business concept because at any point, if you have, let's say, in a situation where you guys have 16 doors, let's say, even though I'm sure this is not the case, they're all not month to month, right?
No.
So exactly. So if they were, or half of them were, and all of a sudden 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 of those moved out,
your cash flow changes.
That's right. Completely. Now you're on the hook for whatever it is that you have to pay as far as your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
There's a protection in having that contract to be
correct.
Cash flow. You can't have people disrupt your cash flow. I could destroy your business. So I agree with that. That's.
Everything's been moving good though. I've been getting my money on time.
Yeah, until it doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
he's really nice.
He be praying over his property.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
We're gonna change your name to Mario the Nice Landlord.
No.
I mean it. As long as it don't make me mad, but once I'm mad though.
No, you got but it's like what he said. Like they seem, you got to be very just business oriented. You can't be like, okay, I trust this person, but I don't trust this person. It's like everybody gets the same treatment, you know.
So you get the same respect until you show me different.
Exactly.
Okay, I want to talk about that y'all had on your seminar, Angel. She was talking about where I think somebody died, right?
Correct.
And then she got the money out during like the probate for the kids or something like that to purchase a property. Can y'all touch on that? I really enjoyed that.
All right. So that's Angel Jacobs. She's the host for our brunch.
Love
and
Angel.
So kind of like I put the clip on my page, so she really went into detail. But her brother passed away, and the everything was left to his children, but his children were minors.
Correct.
So they couldn't access any of the money to bury him. So they had to start a trust fund. They had to do some different things to access the money, to be able to get the money and bury him. But they was able to get extra money, and she, purchased some real estate with the remains of the money, and that money goes to his children until till they turn 18 to be able to access. But the real estate is what's part of what's taking care of them, and it was making sure him making sure that he had insurance and things in place to be able to take care of his children. But the issue was that they were minors, so and I guess I don't know the mother was there or anything like that, but they couldn't access the money. And him being her sister, with her being his sister, she had to do some things. So she tapped into some resources, and people let her know what she can do in order to access those funds.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that for us, man, real estate really changed our lives. And that's just what my mission is. Our mission is from from an education standpoint, because I always thought that I had to get to a certain level to be able to speak about the topic, right? I started out as a marketing professional. I've written 2 books on marketing. So I felt like I did enough to be able to help people, right? From that regard. So then with real estate, I had to figure out what the lane was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that I had to get 30 properties before I can talk to people. And the biggest thing is, our audience is that person that doesn't have one property. I was
about to ask that.
Right. So we're speaking to the person that's trying to get one.
Start. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And how do you get into the game? And that one property can change your life. That one property, that extra $500 to $1,000 a month can go a long way for a lot of people. That's the difference between, if you lose your job and you still able to, pay your rent or pay your mortgage or whatever the case may be. So, you have a lot more people that don't have no properties than that have 15 trying to get 20.
That's right. Yeah.
I think now we're seeing a lot of the inflation that's happening in the economy is happening in real estate and stocks, and especially real estate. So it's like a place where you can store money for savings.
Yes.
So I definitely agree. I've seen people that had medical problems that had an extra piece of property, and then sell the property and then to cover their medical expenses too. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So
take us back, rewind. You guys got your first house, 09. At what point or where did it click to get into real estate or to use real estate as a vehicle? Where was your first investment property? How did that play out? What things clicked to you that like aha moments that somebody would take away that's watching us that would say, the same thing, aha, like that's where it came from?
I'll let her go.
I always like to say that we took our primary residence, leveraged that as an investment property, and did it over and over and over again until we were able to then purchase investment properties free and clear. And so to break that down, we bought our home. We got it undervalued, equity up, right? And I got pregnant, and that home was no longer big enough. So still in this conversation, we're still not thinking investment. We're still not thinking we're in real estate. And we started to look for another property. And I don't know what the conversation was or what we said, but it was, we're not selling this home. We'll take this home, rent it out, take the surplus from the rent and add it to our new mortgage. And that makes the new mortgage even less, right? So that mortgage is paid, and then the new mortgage is even less, and we can afford it, and we're moving forward. And then we did that again. And then it was like,
ding, ding, ding.
It's a snowball effect.
It's a snowball effect. And so the snowball continued to grow. And then it was like, oh, well, we can buy investment properties without mortgage in them, free and clear, right? And we just continue to do that, and then watching our cash flow continue to flow. And so I think that everything happens for a reason. Very grateful that we took everybody, our family around us are homeowners, right? So it's just normal that we will fall into purchasing and owning our home, but not necessarily taking that, leveraging it, and then starting an investment business. Here we are now.
So where'd you get the idea? Who gave you the idea, or where'd you hear it, or who told you the first part about leveraging the equity in that first house?
Nobody.
You
just kind of. So the thing is,
I'm not selling my house. I love it.
So it comes down to when we were renting, I didn't feel comfortable paying rent. So that's really, so I'm like.
That was a house or apartment?
It was an apartment.
It's apartment.
So I was like, we probably can
buy a
house for less than what we're paying in rent.
Yep.
That was fact.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah. So my first mortgage was cheaper than my rent.
Right. Yeah. So then it happened, right? So I think the separation of what we did different from the normal person is everybody puts and my mom's here, right? So everybody puts a emphasis on buying a home like it's such a big deal, right? And I feel like if you eliminate that, right? This isn't 30, 40 years ago, right? So let's stop making like getting a home is an accomplishment from a standpoint.
Like it's the pinnacle.
Like it's the pinnacle. So what happens is you prolong buying a home till you're in your 30s or whatever. So then now, right out the gate, you're trying to buy the $150,000 to $200,000 to $300,000 home. So then now, it's much more expensive. So now you can't even see investing. But if your first home is at 22 years old, we bought our first home 22, 23 years old at $40,000, your mortgage is $300. You feel what I'm saying? It's a different conversation.
Exactly.
Right. So then our third home, we purchased our first home in 2009. We built our third home from the ground up in 2016. So just in 7 years, we purchased 3 homes with, you know what I'm saying? So we leveraged our credit, but the difference maker was when we went to get the next home, we didn't sell that house. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because the overhead wasn't that high. So when you go into a situation and you got a $2,000 mortgage hanging over your head, right? You got to put that up for rent. I mean, you got to put that up for sale.
I think that's the mindset of our culture, in a sense that, you try to keep up with the Joneses. The first thing you do is try to buy the big baller house. And usually that's in their 30s, right? Somebody in their 30s does that. They rent all their 20s, and sometimes they rent all their 30s, and then maybe even their 40s, buying their first nice house. And essentially, you've eliminated the ability, unless you have a high income, you've eliminated your ability to invest.
Correct.
Because all of your money is tied up into your home to impress people.
Yes.
So, but there's a little bit of discipline there you guys had to have, because at some point you could have refied or did whatever you did to pull out the equity and balled out, right? Bought cars, shoes, clothes. Right. Sure. But instead, you guys chose the vehicle of real estate, which was to put your money into another door, right? Which then turned it into another door.
Correct.
And I preach this to everybody. At some point, real estate pays for your lifestyle.
Oh, for sure.
Right. You guys don't pay your house note, right? Or might not have a house note. So because of real estate, and it's somewhere down the road, I agree with you. You have to let everyone know. I preach to everybody who's in their 20s that looks up to me in any kind of way. Buy a house now. Matter of fact, buy a duplex.
Yes.
Don't buy a house.
Buy a duplex.
Buy a duplex.
Yes.
You know, I got some really close friends that are courting and they want to get married at some point. I tell both of them, buy a duplex. Yes. If y'all get married, don't rent an apartment. Y'all go buy a duplex.
Y'all break up, one could be on one side.
Yeah.
and then until then, the tenant can pay your mortgage.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about like being in Ohio, right? So once again, you have to change the conversation, right? So that person that is, say, 24 years old who has a solid job, right? You know, what's your pre-approval, right? So if you go get pre-approved, say you pre-approved for $80,000, right? You can buy a home with that in Ohio. You can go get you a $60,000 home and your mortgage is $500, right? If you change the narrative of the home buying as being this big thing, because you're thinking that, okay, I can't buy a home. I don't have, I can't afford $200,000, right? But you can afford 60. That's the beauty of being in that market. You can't do that everywhere. You know what I'm saying? True. So the conversations is different, depending on the market that you're in.
Yep, true.
Can I ask y'all a question about related more to basketball? When LeBron left Cleveland,
Really?
He spit all this wisdom. I'm like, all right, I'm taking notes.
That's all good.
Hey, man, keep it real, Mario. You know what?
Did real estate go up or down?
I want to know about the economy. Like they said, like the economy, like people wasn't going to restaurants as well. People wouldn't go to the bars. So how did that affect real estate and the economy? And like, are you
did it even affect? Yeah, did it affect it really that much?
It did.
Did it?
For sure.
Okay.
Thought,
she says no.
So the two.
Personally.
Oh, okay. No, if the value of your house went up, that's more money you can take out.
So being from Ohio, I always get two questions, right? When I went to college, is there cows in Ohio? You got cows? You live on a farm? And then the other one is, how you feel about LeBron leaving, right? So those are,
the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
So so the city lost $500 million, right? But it was mainly downtown, right? So it's mainly downtown because we don't have, in Cleveland, it's starting to build up, but it's not, downtown is not like other places where there's like a nightlife, there's things going on after a certain time, right? So maybe say 7:00, right? There's no malls downtown, there's no grocery stores back then. So they're building stuff up. So after 7:00, it's dead.
Shut down, yeah.
Right. So when you have the Cavs and they're doing good, what does that mean? You got
restaurants
are still open, the parking garages, the games, right? So
bars,
right, bars is open, everything. So there's life. So when he left, they're not going to the playoffs. So you think the season was much longer. They were going to the finals 5-6 years in a row. So that's all that stuff stopped. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if you think about it, that is the direct effect, right?
Yep.
The direct effect is we're playing. It's the difference from stopping in May than playing till July.
Correct.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the direct effect if you want to know what it did from real estate standpoint.
How you feel about Kyrie Irving?
As far as what? Him not wanting to play?
Him not wanting to play with LeBron and like kind of like messing up y'all chances of winning again, basically.
It's just alpha males, man. You have somebody who it's the narrative, right? If you allow that man to be that man, then he'll be fine, right? They wanted him to worship LeBron. And
you feel like that? You feel like that?
Yeah, if you look at interviews, they said one interview they asked him, "Is LeBron like a father figure?" He said, "I got a daddy."
That's a little disrespectful, though, right?
You understand? Like,
But
me and you going to work, we're doing the exact same thing.
But
you
people
look
know
at
how
him
to
like
push,
a father.
They know how to
like,
push
no.
buttons, though.
Yeah,
right?
so they know how to do it. He said,
No,
my father,
they wanted him
this is
to-
my father's name.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're
He
talking
wanted him
about.
to lay down at that altar, and he didn't want to do
He
it.
didn't
So
want to do that.
Okay.
yeah,
So
He's a
I
man.
right, he's his
I
own man.
respect
So
that.
So
I mean,
y'all respect him leaving for real? Because I can't stand the Warriors. So every time we would lose to the Warriors, I was like, all right, hopefully LeBron beats them again. And then when Kyrie left, I was like, damn, man, like
they didn't push that narrative, man. You have to understand the business of basketball, right? So the business of basketball is the you got on the Bulls jersey, right?
mm-hmm.
So what they wanted to avoid in the NBA is when Michael Jordan left, what happened?
It's no star.
It's no star.
The
ratings drop.
There's always got to
Nobody's
be a
watching
star.
basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
So then you don't do that from a business standpoint. Hey, we got
to appoint a star.
We have to appoint a star, and we have to make sure everybody knows he's a star. We have to make sure that he gets,
Exactly.
and it has to be able to. Okay, Kobe was a star, but
He wasn't big as LeBron.
No, so Kobe's as big as LeBron, but
he's not as big as
Kobe. Focus was basketball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to
He was a true competitor.
He was a true basketball player, right? He wasn't trying to do movies. He wasn't trying to do all of those things simultaneously as a LeBron. Everybody's just different.
LeBron's a business,
right?
Yeah.
As a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got me on the subject. At what point do you not fall in line with that as part of that machine? Like if you're Kyrie, like if you are Kyrie Irving, right, and you got skills, you can ball. At what point do you clash with the powers that be? Because what's Kyrie Irving right now?
He's
getting $19 million.
A millionaire.
Yeah,
that's
$19 million for not playing.
It's not about it's cool. He's a millionaire, and he's so at the end of the day, I think what happens as spectators, right, and lovers of the game, we want it to mean more, and we want it to be something different, right?
Yeah.
Like they say, LeBron said it. I got a job. This is a job. When the cameras go off, I'm going home, and they get paid a lot of money to play basketball.
He's getting paid a lot of money to do
sit
nothing.
at home. To do
exactly.
Nothing.
So, I mean,
so if that you got to be mad at. You got to.
I don't know.
We're in Texas. What's Deshaun Watson doing?
Sitting at home, and I got my thoughts on that.
But he's getting paid though.
No. He's getting paid, but he's not getting paid anywhere near what he will be getting paid later. Let me clarify that. And that's a good example, right? We're talking about business, right? So, what's Deshaun Watson getting paid right now? And I don't know the number because I don't care about anybody else's stats but my own. So let's just say, for example, he's getting paid $20 million a year, right? Yeah. What's Deshaun Watson's contract right now with Texans? I think it's 40 million, right? What will, if Deshaun Watson were to stay in his lane, play ball, and ball out, regardless of who's on his team, regardless of who's the coach, because he is probably the best quarterback in the league right now.
Okay.
If you want to call him in the league. If he had balled out and played his game, what did Patrick Mahomes get a contract for?
Like 160?
No, $500 million for 10 years.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson would have gotten a bigger contract than him.
I don't think so.
Yes, sir. All day long. He's a better baller than
they tailoring Mahomes to be the next.
I get it. He's a poster child.
I don't think they're doing that for Deshaun Watson.
He's a poster child, but Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback by stats.
No, I agree. But
so
Mahomes is in all the commercials.
So would Deshaun Watson have been in all the commercials? If Deshaun Watson had played ball and balled out, he would have gotten a similar contract to that. True or false? Right? $500 million or more. Yeah, yes, he would have.
I mean,
he's up for contract this year. Is he going to get that same $500 million? And the answer is absolutely not.
Not even close.
Right? So he's just cost himself $500 million. And I don't care how you look at it, left, sideways, $500 million is $500 million. You cost yourself $500 million.
Let me ask you this question: how's your life changed at $500 million versus $100 million. What's
the legacy changes.
I mean, you don't think you have generational wealth at $100 million?
But it goes further down the generation.
Yeah, it's a legacy. It's a legacy.
I think
grandkids.
But he don't have $100 million.
I don't know if he does or he doesn't. But I just like when people start talking about this legacy stuff. The legacy stuff should be teaching your kids skills. It's not giving them a bunch of money. Because I just see.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
100%.
I see it so much where these rich kids don't know how to do anything.
Like Dame said though, like, what if your kids aren't as strong as you? What if their kids not as strong as you? Like, you gotta
I don't care. They're gonna be able to learn. You learn.
Needs to have a skill, right?
You gotta learn it. If you don't learn it, you're gonna.
What you going to school for?
Who, me?
Yeah, like I'm saying.
No.
What do you send your children to school for every single day? So they're not strong in math, but they're strong in reading. Do they no longer go to math class?
No, they still got to go.
As long as he graduates from high school,
right?
As long as he
graduates from high school, I don't care if he goes to college or not.
I'm not saying college. I'm just saying school in general because you said, what if your child isn't as strong as you? Right?
Yeah, correct.
So
there's multimillionaires and billionaires that didn't graduate from high school.
Okay, we're not even talking about school though.
We're not talking about school. Oh, okay.
Not that aspect. I'm just saying
the
in
toughness
the instance of you saying, what if your child is not strong, right? I have 3 children.
Correct.
And I can look at them, right? That's most mothers and fathers can and see who's strong in what and who can do what. So that child that's not going to be strong in the business aspect, you're still going to know about it and you're going to have some type of skill that can still benefit this business because that is the legacy. That's going to feed you when your job fires you. That's going to feed you when you don't make it to the NBA, when you don't make it to the NFL, whatever. That's going to feed you. So you're going to have to be able to do something. You don't have to be as strong as me, but you will have, and I have the money to put the people around you to make you stronger.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him just.
So you want him to have your properties? You want him to have your properties, but
correct.
You have a son,
but
I have a little boy.
He's not going to have the grind.
I mean,
people like that will destroy your business.
He doesn't have to,
or it'll be your business. So would you rather have your son one generation?
There's going to be systems in place where all he's going to be doing is every month is just collecting a check.
But he still needs to know those systems.
You know,
that might hurt him though.
No, he will.
So I understand what he's saying. So like, you know, I have 2 boys, right? We have 2 boys, and it's about exposure, right? The key word is exposure, right? So the difference is when you, from a cultural standpoint, it's what we are being exposed to, right? So in exposing my sons and my children to the business, I'm going to make sure they're exposed in every aspect, right? And I talk about this in my book about your kids understanding and knowing the business, right? And them being in the business and their summer job is in the business and their understanding. So if something happens, you can take over. I don't want you to be in a situation that something happens to me and you're just collecting a check, but you don't understand how to keep the business going.
Exactly.
Or growing it.
So that's the difference.
He's going to learn that.
Right. So that's the difference because at the end of the day, I don't want the business to stop with me. Right? We're not building it to stop with me. So to stop with her. So it's when I get to a certain point, I need you to be able to take over, whether or not at 18 to 30, you say, I'm going to go do my own thing and I'm going to explore life. And then you come back at 30 to be able to take it over. But you're going to know every aspect of it so that can be the case.
Our hopes are that we live long enough to see our children show us those traits. I don't know how old your kids are, but our hopes are that we live long enough to see our 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids either grab it, take a hold of it and run with it, or show us something different, right? I think we're all in a unique position because, and I could be wrong, but I speak for myself. I speak for Mario probably. We're what you would call first generation wealthy people, right? To where you have something to pass down to your kids that maybe you didn't have, correct? So this is uncharted territory. These are things that we're looking at. We're all going to talk to each other and say, well, what did you do? What did you put in place?
Correct.
If we know each other in the next 10 years, what did you do? What did you put in place? Because in 10 years, my son's 17, 18. He's either going to run and take my business and floor it, or he's going to go a totally different direction. He's going to be a doctor, an artist, or, you know, they may not have those ambitions that we have. So we have to use our businesses to create something that's going to help them later. So if your son wants to play NBA, your business is going to make that flourish. Guess what? You can go to every single practice, every single game, every single day. You can hire the best coaches for him to get to the NBA. Whereas if you were a struggling father who went to work, and no cap on any of those kind of men because they're doing what they got to do.
Absolutely.
But if you got to go to work every single day and you get home at 7 p.m. and your son, you know, if he has enough drive, he will figure it out how to get to the NBA without you.
Yes.
But if you're in a position, you can make that even easier.
I agree with you. And I think that one thing for me, I think for us, is mentors, right? So we do have a couple that we look up to and they're millionaires. And one of the things that I took from them is they sit down with their kids and they have family meetings. Not family talks, family meetings. And it's going over the family business, what that looks like, what your role is, where we are, what we're making. And I think that that's very important so that children, even at a younger age, understand money and what that looks like. My son sent me a text message and I was in disbelief, but then I had to realize the world that he's growing into. He sends me a text message, just like 7 pairs of Jordans. And he's like, can I get all 3? Can I get all 7 of these? This is the drip that I need for school, right? Way different. But and then I was like, okay, so for me, we need to have an understanding so you understand what money looks like and what that means. So I saw that gap. And I think that that's very important. Just like you said, you have to pull from people that are already doing it if it hasn't been done for you, and then sharing those things with everybody so that we can all have the next generation be as hungry and driven, even with having more than necessarily what we grew up with.
It's the business of the family. For sure.
How do y'all feel about Airbnbs? Do y'all have any?
We don't.
Y'all don't? Is something y'all want to do?
We're interested. So like we said that one of the goals for 2022 is to get our first Airbnb here in
Houston.
And here in Houston.
Okay.
Kind of been focused on growing our portfolio. So we have the buy and hold side, and then we have a investment group as well to where we flip properties. So that's really what we've been focused on. I think that for us, because we operate in 2 different states, for me, I want an Airbnb that is in where I live at.
You can go look at it.
Exactly. I don't feel comfortable giving that much responsibility to
property managers,
right, to somebody out of state, right? So, and I kind of see what happens, I've seen it. I've been exposed to, shadiness or whatever it is from that standpoint. So that's one of our goals. We kind of really, the investment part really kind of took off. Just that's been our main focus in the last couple of years. So that's really, we're not opposed to it.
It'd be good to diversify.
It's in phases for us.
What is the game plan? So a lot of people will, like in Houston, will get 12 homes and then they will sell the 12 homes and get an apartment building. Are y'all thinking about getting an apartment building? Because I know when I was a kid, I didn't even think that was possible. But with these, they have syndicated deals where you give like $100,000 and you have a lead investor and stuff like that. Right. So y'all are interested in doing stuff like that?
Yeah. So that's our goal. We want to, our next, we're looking at, we want either 4 to 10 suiters, something like that. We want to, go that route, and then something larger after that, but we want to do that. So it's kind of, so from our standpoint, the reason why even like the event is called Couples in Real Estate, because we want to,
you don't have to be a couple to attend.
Right. So you don't have to be you don't have to be a couple to attend.
You don't have to be married too?
No.
Okay. You don't have to be married. You don't have to be
December 5th.
Single
December 5th. So the vision is all those couples on the top of the flyer, right, are in the investment space. And
I don't know. Do you recommend getting a property together as a couple if you're not married?
I'm gonna break it down to you. Down to you.
Paperwork.
So
paperwork.
It's business. It's like anything else.
Yeah.
Like
so what we wanted to, couples to understand is, what we want couples to understand is the investment side is relative to what you have going on in your life, right?
Mhm.
So I walked away from my job in 2017 for a couple different reasons, and been growing my business ever since, right? COVID happened, kind of pivoted some things as an author and, marketing consultant, bookstores closed, a lot of different things happened in that business to where we're not doing book signings and stuff like that, right? Tours and small events, so on and so forth. So pivoting that business and solely focusing on the real estate, what it has done for over our time is, our goal was we're taking a salary at a time, right? The first goal was replacing my salary with the real estate and the business, right? Then growing it after that to, okay, now we're in a full-fledged business and we're able to pay the people that we need to pay, so on and so forth, right? Then the next step is, retiring her full time, right? So I think that you have to put goals in place to, to knock down certain things. And then, okay, now that's happened. All right, now, boom. Now we go into the apartments and things of that nature to, now everything is running well-oiled machine. Like, not that it's not doing that now, but now there's different goals that come out of that, right? So the Airbnb, not that I understand that it's a wave right now, but that wasn't the focus because I need something that I feel like that is more concrete and more sustainable to reach the goals that we're trying to accomplish.
So he's the safe play and you're the risk taker.
No.
No?
Oh my God.
I'm the risk
He
taker.
is the
Really?
risk taker.
Because he sounds like the safe guy, like, setting, I'm in my family, I'm the risk taker.
I'm screaming.
The women
Like,
are always
oh my
safe.
God.
The women are
always
the
they're
women are
nesters.
gonna be
They always want to
Walked
nest.
away from his job. I'm
So,
like,
so it means like this, right? So it's about, we take people know your numbers, right?
Mhm.
So if you know your numbers and we're trying to get to financial freedom, right? What is your number, right? So if you say that your number is $10,000, right? You might, right,
A month,
$10,000 a month, right? So say for example, you say, okay, this person is operating everything off $6,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
So I say financial freedom is not replacing $6,000, bringing in $6,000. Okay, we're gonna bring in 10,000. So you got the goal of 10,000. The risk now has to come into how to get to 10,000, right? That's what it is. Whether it's buying a duplex, I got to buy several singles. That's where it comes in. So yeah, when I'm saying the goals, because we set the goal of our numbers, but now I'm going after those numbers aggressively.
Yeah.
So then once I hit those numbers, boom, now we've gotten that accomplished for where that goal is. Now we're setting the next goal, so on and so forth.
You're
That's
not
ambition.
guessing. You're not
That's
guessing.
ambition.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no, it's no guessing. I'm very strategic.
Yeah.
So
I know
you have
my
to know
numbers.
you have to know your numbers
yeah.
so that and everybody's number is different.
And we change our
But that's
numbers.
that's ambitious. Like, that's in a sense of you want to go, do you not want to go to the next level? And the answer is probably yes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Sure.
So for some people out there, real estate, financial freedom technically is replacing your income.
Right.
Your salary. So
Correct.
there's some people out there make $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, whatever that number is what you want to get your real estate to replace.
Correct.
Right.
Now it's up to you do you want to grow that?
Correct.
And because there are some people that are happy as crap
Right.
with the
They'll hit that goal and then be like, I'm
$65,000
cool.
a year salary.
Yeah.
Right. And for some people, that's probably a high number. If you're making $40,000 a year and you want to get to 65 and you can get real estate to replace that, they're happy as crap.
Good. Yeah.
But you're ambitious. You want more and more and more versus replacing your salary, then hers, which she does. At some point, she doesn't want to work. She only wants to work the family business.
Correct.
Right. But even you still work. You work the family business.
Correct.
So I want to flip gears about Airbnb. It is a wave. And you guys are playing the safe route when it comes to, like, if you can make it on straight rent like Mario's doing. Yeah. Mario doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a regular full-time job. He's in the family business. And his renters, replace his salary. I think Airbnb is a wave. I think it's going to, so you either ride the wave or not. My advice would be to just diversify some of your portfolio
For sure.
to Airbnb and keep it local.
Have y'all argued about a property where, like, you wanted to do it and she didn't want to do it? Never?
No. Yeah.
All the time?
I mean, not necessarily. So this is where it comes to the safe person versus the risk taker. I'm very black and white.
Okay.
So 1 + 1 = 2 for me.
Correct.
And his is like 1 and a possible 2. Carry the 3.
I would have played spades with him. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that not necessarily. His thing is, we have always made it work. We will always figure it out.
Yes.
Right?
I'm the same way.
Right? We're the Boyds.
Oh,
we figure it out.
goodness.
That's what we do. That's what he tells me. That's the pep talk.
We're gonna set our own comps.
Okay. And this is what we're doing. And I'm screaming. So I try really hard. I think that it would be remiss if I didn't mention, I think that it's very important for us to fear God, worship God, and praise God, because that helps me. I have a very strong personality. He also has a very strong personality, but in a marriage, right, it has to submit, and it's the woman, right?
Oh my goodness.
So
Mario.
No. I'm a work in progress, Mario. No.
Look at Mario.
I am a work in progress.
Yeah.
So
oh my goodness.
it helps when he
Just lost
makes
viewers.
these crazy decisions, right? And I want to scream and lose my mind.
It's
right?
natural though.
But without these out the box crazy decisions, we wouldn't be where we are today. If we were going my route, we would probably have 4 doors.
Yeah, you have to have that yin and the yang.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
When I first started my company, I did not let my wife involved in any of it because I felt like she didn't have the heart to see what was going on. You know, you whip out a $50,000, $60,000 credit card bill, and the question is, how are we paying for that?
How are we paying for it?
So now, now as things have progressed and we're full-fledged rolling, now it's like, okay, now I can show you this, because now it's no longer a question of are we able to pay these bills? Now it's how do we grow next? And that's where she's like blossomed.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. She's all the company meetings.
Yeah.
She's there and she's listening. She's contributing. But before, no, I'm the risk taker. I'm running, pedal to the metal, trying to figure out how we're going to pay this, how we're going to pay that. But a part of a husband's role is provide that safety and security for their wife. So if there's a day where I'm stressing about this bill,
she don't know about it.
She don't know about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let her know about it.
So for me, right. So I got a book, right? It's called Clock Management, right?
Okay.
And what it does is we talk about time management and how to balance family and business, right? And I think that sharing your vision with your spouse is very, very important. And if your spouse doesn't understand your vision, then you're not painting it the right way.
Okay.
So as a leader, if you can't make the vision clear and concise for the people that are around you, that's a problem. And you have to look yourself in the mirror and say that, okay, am I painting this? Do they understand the vision? What am I not delivering so they're not understanding, right? So I think that is key, right? So what I had to always explain to her is that our company is the Boyd Group. I didn't name it Donovanboyd. I named it the Boyd Group, right? So this is us. This is our company. And the success of our company is going to be on both of our backs. And as more and more she understood that, the more and more the successful the business grows, right? So I can go out and speak to an audience and by myself and sell some books, right? But if she's there, I'm selling 5 times the amount of books, right? I'm a married man, right? I have a business. So this is what people want to see, right? So that's what it is, right? So if you can understand how to manage the books and go over the leases and the contracts, then that's what I want. I don't want necessarily right now to outsource everything and we don't know what's going on. We need to build it so we understand every aspect of it. So then as we grow, right, then, okay, we can put somebody in this position, but we know what it is. If I'm down, I can step in and do this piece. If she's down, she can step in to do this piece. So for me, I wanted us to take this thing together, right? Because it goes back to the couples in real estate, right? You have people that are together, right? So you asked about, do you buy properties, right? Married. So reason how we had 3 properties with 3 mortgages, right? We leveraged our credit individually to buy properties separately and then bought a property together.
Cool.
So most people don't do that, and they don't know that, right? So once again, just not understanding, and this is why we're teaching, and this is what, because it's a lot of stuff that goes on that people just have no clue about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We want to come together, and it just so happened at the time I had good credit, so I bought the house. Then the next house, she had good credit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then the next house, okay, well,
we're good.
Now we good, we bonded, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know that, husband and wife, okay, we got to come in together. Now you screwed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? You screwed now. You done wasted. You got 2 FHAs. You know what I'm saying? You wasted one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a pass. It's a get out of jail free pass.
Yeah.
Get out of job free pass is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? So you wasted one. You can actually be utilizing both of them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just things that I feel like, you know, information that we don't have, and, you know, our mission, man, we just want to educate, you know, and I feel like I think that, you know, we've done a great job so far. I think that we're seeing the fruits as far as the conversations with people around us is different. More people want to invest. More people are talking about properties. Can you show me? You know what I'm saying? The conversation and now is different, and we have been at, you know, the center of that, you know. And I just think that, like, with us, you know, she's black and white, I can see color. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I see a property, right? My mom, oh, you what? Nobody's gonna live here. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they will. Once I get done with it, they will. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we have to understand this is real estate.
You got the vision.
They're not making they're not making any more land.
Nope.
There's not another world on the other side of the door that we don't know about. So you have to take what's here.
Y'all not gonna live there. Somebody else is gonna live there.
Somebody else gonna live there. And this is what I have to explain to people, right?
Yeah.
Stop looking at this as if this was your house.
Because it's not.
Correct.
This is not your house.
People live in this type of house every day.
Yeah.
Everybody looks, so when you walk in, oh, I wouldn't live here.
I didn't ask you.
It's not for you to live here.
You're not the tenant.
It's not for you to live here, Mom.
Correct.
Like, it's not for you to live here. I don't like the area.
Yeah.
You don't live here.
Yeah.
You don't need to like the area. You don't need to like the house. I just want you to come in. This is what I tell my mom. I want you to come in because, you know, you watch HGTV. I want to see if you got some vision in here.
Yeah.
What you can think and go over here. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Fix this up. Stop worrying about
the area.
Stop worrying about that.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about the bullet holes in the window.
Yeah, we're gonna cover all. We're gonna fix all that.
We're gonna fix the window.
Fix it up.
So have y'all? I know we're running out of time here, but have y'all ventured off in the journey and as investors here in the Houston market?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, good.
Right.
Good.
So step one was her getting her license.
Cool. And you got it.
I got it. I am an official realtor.
Dom's my realtor.
Dom's my agent.
Dom's my agent. Dom's my agent.
Dom's my agent on all social platforms.
Let me do a little questionnaire before we end. It's for both of y'all.
Uh-oh.
All right,
Mr. Kyrie Irving.
What you about to say?
Mr. Kyrie Irving. We went left field for like a whole 30 minutes.
Right. He set the tone with the jersey.
1 million followers or one rental?
One rental.
One rental?
What do you
1 million followers on Instagram?
You pick 1 million followers or one rental?
Are they engaged or not?
They're engaged.
No,
you can sell a lot of books.
I can do 1 million followers.
1 million followers. It's easy to get one.
If they're
rental.
engaged,
They're
1 million.
engaged?
It's easy to get one rental.
Okay. Oh, Section 8 or regular tenant?
Both.
All right.
No, so I'll say this.
Pick one.
You gotta
pick one.
You gotta pick one.
Yeah.
Only one.
Knowing what I know about Section 8 has nothing to do with the tenant. Knowing what I know about Section 8, I'll say a regular tenant.
Okay. Land or house? Just the land or a house on the land? It's a hard one.
No, I mean you're asking if.
I mean,
What would you prefer? What would you prefer? Land or the house?
What would you prefer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me the house.
The house? Okay. It's for both of y'all too.
I'm gonna go ahead and go. It depends. See, the thing is, it's just so
passive income.
Where is the
Passive
land?
income.
Where is it?
Too many questions.
It's on my mind.
We're
I'm an overthinker.
gonna fly with him.
We're gonna fly with
said
him.
house.
He said house. I'm gonna just follow his lead. Okay.
Money or equity? So like the cash or the equity on the property?
It's like the same thing.
No,
Right.
no.
No.
I mean, you got to sell to get the equity, but
For
the
sure.
money you got
You
it.
said cash flow.
Yeah.
That's what
No,
you said?
the money, like cash in your hand, like money. Or,
So if I gave you a bucket with $100,000 in it, or I give you a house with $100,000 equity,
correct.
which one you take?
No, give me the bucket. I can get to my 100.
No, because I mean, you're gonna owe interest on
on the equity.
Yeah, so
it's
I
not
take
free
the money.
and clear.
I
Give me
want
the money. Give me the bucket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put it in my hand.
But the equity could grow.
Sorry,
over
I'm not in
time,
this.
It
though.
could. I could grow the 100,000 over time.
It's
too.
the same thing. It's the same thing. One you owe,
Not really,
one you're gonna
not
owe,
No, really, I'm
one
gonna
you're
grow
gonna
it.
owe,
Yeah,
and one you're
A
not.
lot of
I'd
people
rather
don't blow
have
that
zero.
100,000
Not
on-
me, though.
I know y'all. I know y'all not. But
What
I'm
do you
just saying
pick?
in general?
What does he pick?
I'll take the money.
You want the
And see,
money?
if you
I
can't
take,
handle,
I could take 100,000 and turn it to 300,000.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. But not everybody can do that. That's why. That's why.
I can't speak for everybody.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
for us.
Okay.
it's
You asked me
forced
the question,
savings.
right?
If you have a home and has
Correct.
equity, it's forced saving for some people
Yeah.
that have like itchy hands. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Cleveland or Houston?
How dare you,
Yeah.
Mario?
They both.
For
They
what?
both not doing good.
You gotta pick one.
But Cleveland or Houston for what?
Oh yeah, I was
It
talking
could
about
be-
basketball teams. My bad.
Oh,
that's what I said. You
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about.
I was like, they both suck.
The market, what do you mean, Cleveland or Houston?
It's a broad question, but you can
The city?
choose. It could be the city though. The city.
No, I'm saying for what? Like to
I'll
live
say-
in,
I'll
to
say- I'll
invest?
say-
For real estate,
For real
right?
estate.
I'll
Okay.
say because we moved here for a reason. I'll say Houston
I'll say
moved here
pick
for a
Houston.
reason.
Oh,
Yeah.
moved
because
Bam.
we moved here for a
Cleveland will always be how we
right.
love.
We moved here for a
Cleveland.
very specific reason.
Very specific.
You know what I'm saying? So this.
Say we're gonna take that net worth and blow it up, right?
Yeah. So we
That's
we
it.
moved
Exactly.
here for a specific
I
reason.
got one more question: LeBron or Michael Jordan?
For what?
Mike, basketball.
No, not basketball. See, this is the thing. That's a very hard question. They're two totally different individuals. LeBron and everything that he does surrounding basketball versus MJ is just solely basketball.
Okay.
So if it's just solely basketball, I'm going with Mike.
Going with Mike.
Yes.
Okay. You too.
I'm going with Mike.
All right. That's it.
All right. So December 5th, 11 o'clock. Y'all have a brunch coming up. Anybody out there is trying to go to the brunch? How do they got to buy a ticket? What do they do?
They have to buy a ticket. The link is in all our bios.
Okay.
So one I want to shout out Brick House Realty on there, Mark and Andrea, and everybody, Charles and Samara, Chelsea Lester, Nick Drake, who's killing it in the wholesale space. Boys up to about 100 doors on the wholesale space. Tamika Young, Angel Jacobs. So the Couples in Real Estate Brunch is December 5th in Houston, Texas. You can follow me on social media. I am Donovanboyd. The link is in my bio. And get your tickets, man. We're providing brunch, everything that you want to know about real estate. We're going over investing, wholesaling, buying and holding, construction costs, on the whole 9 yards, man, to educate on how to get into the real estate space. It's in downtown Houston, Texas, at Share Space. And we just really want people to come and learn about investing. And the big thing that we're doing it in Houston, man, is the reason why I'm bringing the team here is to encourage people to invest, but to look outside of their markets. Just because you're in Texas, just because you're in Houston, that doesn't mean that you can't invest somewhere else. And we have, different resources in place that will allow you to invest in other markets. And just, like Cleveland, Ohio, we talk about property management, construction teams and all of that. Those things are really put in place for you. So, just want to broaden people's, scopes and horizons about where they can invest, because, we have people outside all these different countries investing in the United States and investing in different cities. So why can't we invest in our own land in our own country?
Good.
Sounds good.
So, December 5th, I think, Mario, we need to go.
Yeah, we
Not,
will.
not as
We'll
a
be
couple,
there.
though, bro. Bring my wife. Hey, but listen, in Houston, they're not going to judge you on the content of your character. They're going to judge you on your waffles. All right? So the brunch has got to be on
It's
point.
gonna be on point.
Brunch has got to be on point.
For sure.
Point, man.
Well, good. I think that's going to wrap up the show.
So,
Got anything else?
I wanted to talk about crypto, but maybe next time.
Next time.
Maybe next time.
all right.
That's an
Okay.
invitation
Other
to come
investments,
back.
but all
For
right,
sure.
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right. See y'all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.